Hello and welcome to Raising Men, and I'm your host, Craig Carlisle. I know some of you are still wondering what Raising Men is all about. Raising Men is a place where men have real talk about real life. So let's talk about it. I ask you all, as always, to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and on our blog at Raising Men. That's RZNGMEN, RZNGMEN. Again, this is Raising Men, a place where men have real talk about real life. So today's topic, are you thankful? We're going into the Thanksgiving holiday season, and for a lot of us, Thanksgiving and Christmas have a whole lot of different meanings. Some of us are going to spend our time with family and friends and eating and filling ourselves with so much until our guts just want to bust. I remember as a kid, my mom used to cook, and she used to make the great turkey and oyster dressing and macaroni and cheese and yams and mashed potatoes and ham. And man, I think I'm putting on 5 pounds just thinking about that. As I got older, my wife, she loved to entertain like my mom did, and she used to just cook and cook and cook as well. And I remember in both cases, those ladies liked to just spend all night in the kitchen and paying so much attention to every detail and making sure that that turkey was just so not too dry and not undercooked, and that the mashed potatoes were smooth and the yams were seasoned just right, and on and on and on. And then they would just spend the whole rest of their day just restlessly tired because they had spent so much time serving others. And I used to wonder, what's that really all about? I mean, why don't you just go lay down and we'll figure it out, put the turkey on, and we'll work together. But they were thankful for who they were having come to their house. They were thankful for their families. And I know some of us even maybe drawing back on that great memory that we talked about last week's show. What was Thanksgiving like in your homes? Send me some messages and comments on the blog, on Facebook and Twitter, and let me know what you think. What was your Thanksgiving all about? What was the root topics in your house? Was your family thankful for friends? Were you thankful for family members? Or was it just about the things, now the Black Friday shopping? Are you happy that it's just an extended shopping period and you're getting a jump on your holiday shopping? Well, for me and for those of us who are like me that have had some challenges in life and things are just not quite like they were traditionally. I'm a single parent. I won't have my oldest home for the holidays, at least not for this holiday, and it's just going to be the little guys and I. My father's spending this Thanksgiving in the hospital. Well, I should say rehab, but it just all depends on what the Lord allows between now and Thanksgiving. So I should say, and first and foremostly, I'm thankful to you, Lord, for allowing me to even have breath and life, to be able to have this show, to be able to talk about real talk, about this real life. It's so easy just to sit back and be a talking head for a while. It's so easy to sit back and watch life go by. It's so easy to sit there and just say, I'm going to spend another holiday at someone's house, sitting, maybe watch some football, reruns or playback of some basketball, some of your other favorite show. Some of us will even work through their Thanksgiving and won't really share much time with family. They'll share with customers. They'll be in a service-oriented position, whether it be law enforcement and airlines or military service. But when you really get down to it, are we truly thankful for even where we are? I know the Bible talks about us being content in all things, of learning to be content with much and learning to be content with little. Makes you wonder sometimes, how do we even define ourselves? Are we defining ourselves and our level of thankfulness by what we have? It's not a good thing if that's what we do, but that's not what life is all about. Life is not about what you have. It's more about who you are, who you have in your life. I know when I was much younger, I think I took a lot of life for granted. Thought I had an overabundance of time. I thought I had tomorrow to just do and say those things that I wish I had said after the person I wanted to say it to is all gone. My wife passed away almost 4 years ago, and I spent a lot of time the latter part of her illness. She died of bone marrow cancer in the City of Hope Hospital. And we spent a lot of time talking, a lot of time listening to each other in those last days. But just imagine, it shouldn't require tragedy for you to be thankful for something. Be thankful for those things that are in your life. It should not have taken a tragedy, a sickness, an illness for me to have become excited about my relationship, my marriage, and fixing it and making it be everything that God already ordained it to be. So when you're really sitting there listening to the program, Raising Men, and I'm your host, Craig Carlisle, just remember, let's think about what we're thankful for this year. What have we taken for granted? What are we letting kind of go by the wayside? What are we just allowing to just pass by and think that I've got tomorrow or the day after to restore it? In our film, Restore Me, we spent a lot of time dealing with the concept of restoration and restoration of relationships and relationships with God and people, family specifically. When you really think about what needs to be restored in your life, are there people out there that you don't talk to that you used to be best friends with? Oh, they did me wrong, Craig. You don't understand, but I don't think you understand how you're going to feel if something were to happen to that person before you restored that relationship. We need to be thankful for those relationships that cross our paths, that come in our lives, that we're supposed to be stewards over, whether it be children or parents. Trust me, I'm a parent. I also am a child. I understand that sometimes as a child, your parents get on that last one nerve that you thought was already gone, that you wish they stopped dancing on and playing on and preying upon, and you just have to let grace abound. This is a season where my pastor speaks a lot about grace and allowing grace to be sufficient for you, and we should be extending each other so much more grace, because once the Lord takes that person from your life, you won't be able to be frustrated by them anymore. You'll long for those times when that person was there to give you that word, to pray for you, to intercede on your behalf, to just speak into your life, and they're just not there. The turkey and the dressing they used to make isn't there. The chocolate cream pie my mom used to make, it's not there. The oyster dressing she used to make is not there. And this interesting thing about it is we try so hard to reproduce those recipes in some cases that our spouses or grandparents or parents or great-grandparents, if we were that fortunate, used to make rolls or pies, you name it, but our imitation of them are just a pale shadow in comparison to what we used to have. Same as for those relationships. When you really think about those ones that you used to call dear and call true and call loved ones that are no longer with you, man, you just have a shadowed memory of those relationships. My kids, 5 of them, 5 boys. Shane's 21. Caden's 13. Ryan's 12. Evan's 10. Jackson's 8. Those young men don't have their mother anymore, so they won't get a chance to taste any of their mother's recipes and dinners and food anymore. Yeah, I love to cook. Trust me, I'm a foodie. I spend a lot of time watching those cooking shows. Make some of recipes even pretty good. I make some pretty mean food. I can cook, not a problem. But when it comes to a dish that their mother used to prepare, or either one of their grandmothers used to prepare, anything I make as a replica of that is nothing but a pale reflection of what they're used to getting. Because you're going to find that these meals that we're eating or used to eat from the loved ones that are longer there, and in some cases, if your loved one is still there and you're eating their food, that meal is so much the memory and the love that you have for that person that they have for you, that you taste that food and you smell the food and you taste the drink and you're just basking in the glow of what that relationship means. It has so little to do with the recipe itself and the meal itself. I mean, I've had dinners where my mom has dried the heck out of that turkey, and it's just like, paper products and matchsticks, and you're like, oh my goodness, this was the worst turkey ever. But you know what? You don't remember that. You just remember that mom made turkey and dressing for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever other holiday she made. She'd always make that chocolate cream pie with that homemade crust. She'd always prepare the crust even for my dad's pumpkin pie. That was really a mutation on the Libby's can recipe of pumpkin pie, because I remember back in the day when my dad used to go and get that Libby's can of pumpkin pie mix. It didn't used to always come with that condensed milk. Go out and check it out. For the ladies that are listening, I know a lot of guys don't make a lot of pies, but for those of you who do, who are listening, that Libby's can label didn't used to come with condensed milk. My dad put that in there, and eventually at some point, someone thought it was a good idea, and they got the same idea too. And he used to always say, they got my recipe. But I'll never have pumpkin pie quite like my dad's again. And every time I have pumpkin pie, it'll always be graded against his. It'll be framed against the lens of the pumpkin pie that he used to make. And so many times when we go through the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, we don't spend a lot of time really understanding what the holidays mean. It's not the TV show. It's not the time off. It's about relationships. It's about being thankful for what the Lord has provided in your life. It's about what God is putting into your hands for you to do, for what you are supposed to say to someone before there's no more time left to say it. Again, you're listening to Raising Men, and with your host, Craig Carlisle, and we're really dealing today with being thankful. I know as guys, we don't really think about it. We don't become thankful for something until it's gone. I'm sure, guys, we can remember that girlfriend that we lost, and man, we probably treated her poor. Probably just made her think that it was all about us until she was gone, and you tried your best to get back with her, and she didn't want anything to do with you. That wife that divorced you, or you divorced, and you spent the rest of your life searching for that same one, end up marrying a woman looked just like your ex-wife. I found that I even dated a girl for a very short time, and after my wife passed, looked just like my wife. If you've lost a child, and I don't even have a clue what that really feels like in earnest, but I know I had a couple of kids become really sick, and one almost drowned, and one passed out in my arms. I'm talking about blue lips, not breathing, and I'm doing CPR on them, on him, in my house. Yeah, what am I thankful for? Thankful for being a dad. I'm thankful for the pain that I used to have when, shortly after their mother died. When my kids used to hug me, it used to hurt. For those of you who've not suffered any loss, you might be thinking, this guy's a loony. What are you talking about? How do your kids hurt you when they hug you? When they squeezing you too tight? You got some skin ailment or something? No, man, I'm talking about the pain from the hole in my heart that was left from the absence of the death of my wife was so great that when our children would hug me, man, it would just hurt. And it just felt as they were squeezing me because they wanted that love. They wanted what their mom used to give them. They wanted what they couldn't have, because now they've realized that it's gone. And they took their mother's hug for granted. And their dad wasn't a hugger. Their dad wasn't a big affection shower to the kids because it wasn't manly. Wasn't manly to show your kids love and hug them and pick them up. Well, guys would pick them up and toss them, yes, but we weren't huggers. We weren't kissers. We weren't the ones that showed affection because it's not manly in our society's eyes. But now, I'm thankful because that season in my life is over. I prayed and I asked the Lord, please take that from me, Lord. There's no reason why I've got to have pain when my kids hug me, because the pain I'm feeling is not the pain from them doing anything wrong and showing anything negative or being violent towards me. It's just when I looked in their eyes and I hear their voices and I look at their faces just right, I saw glimpses and images of their mother. And it was the pain that I was feeling from the loss because she was no longer there. Yeah, we had our differences, but she wasn't there for me to even restore that relationship anymore. She's not there. She's never going to see them in the flesh. Now, I believe in the spiritual realm she'll see it. I believe that she'll have moments away from praising God all day to have seen what her sons are up to. I believe that she saw my son Shane's 21st birthday and she was excited that her son had turned 21. I believe that she would be excited and was excited to have seen her 13-year-old Caden actually become a teenager and become so tall. I believe she's excited to see her son Ryan be able to be the great young man that he is and so strong and so all of them so intelligent. I know would have been excited and has been excited to see her son Evan excel in school after having had a few setbacks. And I know she would have tears of joy at her youngest Jackson and being able to relish as he grows up. But on our side, on this side of heaven, those of us that are left behind don't have those for sure knowledge and for sure examples. Yes, our hearts wants to say that we want to believe that to be the case, that we know that she's happy, that we know that she's happy, that we're happy, but so oftentimes we're not happy on this side because she's not here. But I have to say that I'm thankful that I'm here with them. I'm thankful for what's good in my life. My pastor, John Hanson, he had a sermon message that he made sure that the congregation always thought of what's good in your life. So it's good. Man, I'm thankful to be able to be here sharing my life on the RZNGMEN Show with all of you. I'm thankful that there's someone out there whose life can be changed and helped through the power of my testimony. I'm thankful for each one of my sons, Shane, Caden, Ryan, Evan, and Jackson. I'm thankful for their lives. I'm thankful to be their dad. Thankful for being able to be the one that's here on earth in their flesh, to be able to love them and hug them and tell them that their dad loves them and God loves them and their mother loved them beyond and on into heaven. Thankful that I'm able to continue family legacies with them and create new legacies and new traditions with them. Thankful I'm able to be in their classrooms. I'm thankful I'm able to be the youngest of 3 siblings. Thankful for my brother and my sister. Yeah, we may not always see eye to eye. We may have our differences, but I'm thankful for what they've done for me in my life. I'm thankful for my sister used to take me places and buy me clothes and spend time with me and laugh with me, make sure I was doing okay. And she still does that to this day. Oh, let me buy you a cup of coffee. Oh, I don't even drink coffee. Can't even stand it. But it's not about the coffee. It's about being thankful. It's about the sharing of the time. Thankful for my dad. Thankful that though he may be struggling with something that keeps his mind clouded and altered, as the hospital may say, I'm thankful that whatever this illness is, he's not in any pain. Thankful that he doesn't have any issue with wondering who his children are. Thankful that He's not the one that's screaming down the hallways accusing someone of hurting him. Spent a lot of time at his bedside today, and the Lord allowed me to witness the yelling and screaming and agony of patients who were claiming to have been hurt by their providers. Same parents, these are same patients who were all mentally altered, like my father as well. Hearing the children of some of these patients yelling at their parents, disrespecting their parents, telling them that you're crazy, something wrong with you, and being totally disrespectful, but from a place of sheer hurt and sadness. Thankful I'm not the one that has to stand there and talk to medical staff and tell them that their parent, though they're not in their right mind, still prefers to have a same-gendered attendant for them because they're afraid of the opposite sex, because they're afraid of being hurt or abused. Thankful I'm not the one in a hospital bed today. Thankful that I may have aches and pains, but I'm thankful that I'm becoming well each day. I'm thankful that my strength is returning each day. I'm thankful for the opportunity to breathe and draw breath and kiss my kids and pray for them at night and see them in the morning. I'm thankful for the bills that I have. May not have money to pay them all, but I'm thankful. Thankful for the house that we're in together. I asked a couple of my sons, Caden and Ryan, I think it was yesterday, we had breakfast before a doctor's appointment, and I asked the boys, are you guys okay with not spending a traditional Thanksgiving with people, and we're going to go to an auto show together? One of my sons said, yeah, Dad, we haven't been in a long time. That's fun. My other son said, it doesn't matter what we do, Dad, as long as we're together. And that's the bottom line. Long as whatever you're doing it together with those that you love. Because like the coin phrase says, and I guess here it comes, you're going to miss them when they're gone. Let's really not dwell on the gone, but let's dwell on the here. They're here now. You're here now. We're here now. We're here together on the RZNGMEN Show with Craig Carlisle, and we're talking about, are we thankful? What are we thankful for? Again, I always am asking people to leave me comments and tweet me at Facebook and Twitter and on our blog and let me know what you're thankful for. If you have prayer requests, we'll take those too. I'm excited. I'm thankful for being able to pray for you. Pray for me. Pray for my family. Pray that we all find what we're thankful for. Pray that we all have an opportunity to be able to love and to feel again. If you've experienced loss of any type and you're wondering, how come I don't even feel cold or heat or the wind on my face? I remember there was a time shortly after my wife passed, we were taking our oldest to college, and he's a senior now at Ohio State, but 4 years ago, I remember being out there in Columbus and Cleveland and out there in a California tank top with no t-shirt on underneath in March. For those of you from the Midwest, you understand what that was like. I remember my wife's Aunt Joyce were asking me, boy, what are you doing now? Where's your coat? Aren't you cold? I told her, no, Joyce, I'm good. I don't feel, it's not cold to me. But I'm not sure I ever told her until many years later that I couldn't feel the cold. Couldn't feel the heat. But I'm thankful that by the grace of God that has been restored, I can feel again. And for those of you that are out there that are like me, that may be suffering a loss and not sure what you're thankful for, or if you even have something to be thankful for, I'm praying for you. I'm praying blessings of just peace and joy into your life right now. Because in the area where I live, and I'm sure across the country, there are people who are taking their lives in record number. And I'm not a political guy, and I'm not going to even sit here and talk politics with you or any election results. That's not what I'm going to do. But I do know I have heard from children's own mouths that they're genuinely afraid and concerned about what their future is going to hold now that we're getting a change in presidents. Young lady that I did a sound for at her funeral, she was 16 years old. She took her own life because the way it was reported was that she said she had no hope, or felt that she had no hope. How at 16 years old, or at 60 years old, or 600 years old, how do you have no hope? How do those around us not even see that and be able to do something to reach out, make an attempt to bring that person back? I even was a participant in a social media campaign today where a friend sent out a message saying, if you are reading this, I need to do an experiment. If you see this right now, post up copy and paste my same exact post into your timeline, because I have someone that wants to commit suicide. I need to make sure that they know that there's someone out there listening to them. So I did that. A lot of us did that. And for those of you who did, I praise you. I thank you for that. Because the word that came out afterwards was that we were able to save the life of a young lady who thought she had no hope. But I have to tell you, I can recognize that spirit of death and that spirit of suicide and that spirit to not want to live, because I identify with it. Thankful that I've been delivered from it. I know what it is like to not want to live, not want to get up, not wanting to even come outside, not wanting to pull the covers back from over your head. But you have to believe and know that that is a lie from the enemy. And if you need a holiday like Thanksgiving to remind you of that, or a show like Raising Men, that's what I'm here to remind you, that I'm a living witness that you are worthy and you are loved and you're worth living for. So if you struggle with the concept of killing yourself and that you're not worthy, send me a message. Reach out to me on the blogs at Facebook and Twitter. God loves you. He would never have given you breath and life this day that He has made if you weren't worth it. So we're going to rejoice in being worth it. We're going to rejoice in the fact that you're here, that you're able to listen to these broadcasts and spending time with us on the RZNGMEN Show. Again, I'm Craig Carlisle. I'm your host. I'm so thankful for being able to be here with you.
You're listening to Raising Men with my dad and your host, Craig Carlisle, on WKBY 1080 AM.